I see it more now as a beauty. Like, this is an amazing adventure that I'm on right now. Being a woman has so much power to it.
I think that women's oppression is really scary.
Women, even myself at one point, felt like I was supposed to be inferior to men.
I think that female oppression manifests itself in different ways when you're in an organization like this one.
So I remember like the first time I like totally understood the patriarchy, and it was so overwhelming, and it was just like everywhere.
A lot of our women, black and brown, are being oppressed.
A lot of people think that, it may be, men beating up on women or men not treating women equally, but it's everything down to the everyday language that we use,
Like little sayings like you guys.
I think that oppression, for me, makes me feel invisible and makes me feel underappreciated, makes me feel like I am not seen or heard.
Yeah, I'm Palestinian. I've always looked to women in Palestine to kind of lead that charge for freedom.
If she's too intelligent, she sounds like
You're
this.
smart.
Maybe you're smart
too dominant
girl,
for a woman.
or maybe you're doing too much. You should just be cute.
She's like, hey guys, and just realize that like there are probably more girls in the room than there are guys, and just kind of question themselves, like, why is it that I use this language?
I think it takes being aware and awareness on all sides. So I know, like, being in a room, a lot of times men tend to cut women off and they don't realize that they're doing it.
Patriarchal society is so pervasive that we won't even realize we're perpetuating it, and that's one of the biggest problems.
It's normal for us to look for the man in the room first if we're just asking basic things, if we're trying to get caught up on what's going on, and
I think that there are different types of oppressors. There are folks that oppress and are totally aware of it and don't have hatred in their heart, and then there are folks that do have hatred in their heart.
You don't always have to be a lady to be a lady.
And yeah, exactly, not even just that, but the fact that there is no definition of what being a lady is.
And it's just something that we have to work on in ourselves, realizing how important and wonderful being a black woman is.
we're all guilty of it. It's not like, it's not like a witch hunt to see like what man is in the patriarch or what man is sexist. It's like something that is so normalized in our culture in America and probably the world, that, even women perpetuate it.
I feel like the women of Dreamer Senators are amazing women, very powerful, very intelligent, very motivated and driven.
So my Angelou said I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it.
It's breaking whatever stereotypes that exist about women.
And we should always be, constantly checking ourselves to make sure that we aren't, discriminating against women.
I love myself thoroughly and fully. I don't take no foolishness from anyone. I am myself at all times, and you can't break that.
I show others that I'm a woman of power, with power, of power.
I embody being a queen by honoring the process that I have to go through, and I don't rush it, and I'm not apologetic about it, and
I think as a black woman, it's about really being comfortable with who you are.
If I want to, I'm not going to feel uncomfortable if I want to show leg or show cleavage. And at the same time, I could still demand respect even though I'm doing that.
It's important because I think often women are most forgotten about minority. Not a minority in the sense of population, but a minority in the sense of opportunity, power, earnings.
I try to focus it on, me being myself and being able to check myself if I'm acting in a way or, using language that I feel like is male dominated.
As well as just a phenomenal person and powerful. I can change so many people's lives, even little girls, and be a role model to others. And realizing that, I may not see myself on TV all the time, I may not be the person in the magazine, but I am worthy and I am important and I do hold value.
I'm a firm believer in the saying that you're only as strong as your woman is. We as men feel like we know everything, that we're brute strength, that we have the muscles, but without women, where will we really be?
You don't have to speak a certain way. You don't always have to cross your legs You don't always have to wear heels or sandals. Right now I got my Vans on and my snapback.
And leading when I feel like, it's my place to lead, or it's important for me to lead. And that way, not to show men that we have power, but to show younger women coming up and younger women who don't necessarily think that they can do something like this, that, it is possible, and all it takes is for you to believe in yourself and to have that confidence.
I would hope that they would acknowledge the fact that it's unnecessary, and the fact that the male and female structure is something that coexists and needs to coexist at an equal balance.
I think it's really important for women, specifically API women, to take ownership over their identities.
I feel like the women of the Dream Defenders are really backbone of Dream Defenders. And I don't mean that like in a cliche of like, oh, they hold us up. Like, they're really once the brain works, it goes through the women.
Being beautiful and powerful at the same time.
The woman is just as great, if not more great.
Yeah, maybe that's the imbalance.
Right, than our male counterpart.
For me, it's just a form of respect. Don't belittle anyone, especially don't belittle women just because they are women and you feel like you're a man.
Comically, we're superior.
We can't create without them. We can't nurse a child. We can't do a lot of things that they can because we need them.
All you have to do is be physically, not even physically, mentally, for the LGBTQ community. All you have to do is think you're a woman and you're a woman. Those are the prerequisites of being a woman. That's it.
And be really strong in their identities and be really unapologetic about their identities.
We're no longer being stepped on. We're claiming our voices, and we're making a stand for ourselves.
As women, we actually need to stick together and like be open enough to have these conversations, although they may be uncomfortable, and really start to be intentional about developing our leadership. And so I feel like creating that dialogue and like getting that seed in men's head is a huge step.